Hey,
What's going on, buddy? How you doing?
good. How are you?
Doing good. Are you back in are you watching, paying attention to the news, or are you still in your not really paying attention?
I haven't really paid too much attention.
Okay. Um,
Um, just
I've, s-
headlines.
I have so much fun Israel talk. I feel like you can't have fun Israel talk, but this is impressive to me. Before we do that though, I had sent you one clip. Did you get
Yeah,
that clip? Do you have that ready to go?
I do.
I'm gonna
Here,
give some
let's
props. I'm
share
gonna
it.
give props where props are due.
Okay. I have not watched this.
Not too long.
We're sharing. You see it?
Yep.
All right, here we
Go
go.
go full screen.
To say that President Biden called me yesterday. It was very nice. We had a very nice conversation. I appreciated that he called about, what happened the other day. And he says, he's committed. He's committed. No, and today, a little while ago, I got a very nice call from Kamala. No, it's very nice. It was very nice. It was very, very nice, and we appreciate that. But we have to take back our country. We have to.
Hold on. I gotta
Yeah.
stop here.
You can end it there. What's interesting about it, so I give Trump props because when he said that, I was like, oh shit, like he's making a play from the middle. Like, good
Okay.
job, whoever talked him into that. I'll say this: his crowd when he was doing that was not into it. Like you could hear people kind of heckling from the back. Like it was quiet with a couple people being like, "What the hell?" Like they were not down.
Yeah.
And then he immediately went from that into like later on in that speech, he said she was a communist, a Marxist, and a fascist, all within like 5 minutes of each other.
Oh,
Um,
we gotta watch this.
nah, that I think this is a 1 minute clip. But
Okay.
he's been talking a lot recently. They've both been really active on the campaign trail. So what's been funny is JD Vance
So,
mainly. Well, go ahead.
oh, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say JD Vance mainly has been going around everywhere he can saying like the Democrats call them a fascist. Like you can't do that. And then every time a news organization shows that, they play that clip of Vance and then they follow it with a montage of Trump calling Kamala a fascist, a Marxist, a dictator, like every day for the last
Yeah,
three straight
all in the
weeks.
same bunch. She's everything.
The rhetoric is bad on both sides. Like, yes, the Democratic rhetoric like could get somebody hurt, but also the Republican rhetoric could. Like, it's just too elevated, and neither side is going to back down right now at all. So we're kind
Well,
of
I
stuck
want
with it.
somebody to ask Trump, like, how is she a Marxist? How is she a fascist? How is she a communist?
her
Like,
her dad was a Marxist, according to Trump. I think
yeah,
he
but how is
made.
she? I want to know like specifics of what her agenda looks like that's
I don't know,
fascist, Marxist, communist. Like, I want somebody to actually ask him these questions.
dude. He's not going to answer that. So, did you see
Yeah.
today? They asked him, or maybe it was yesterday. They asked him what he was going to do to bring the price of food down. Like it was at Sarah Huckabee
Like,
Sanders, that used to be his press secretary, is the governor of Arkansas now, and for some reason she was hosting a town hall in Michigan with him yesterday. Um, and that was the question: is what are you going to do to bring down the price of groceries? And like you can't say price controls because that'll get everybody
yeah.
going. So he said he was going to impose tariffs on all food coming into the United States, which will raise the price of food. And then he realized that he wasn't making any sense there, and he then went on to talk about windmills and all. It was the craziest answer ever, but it's like everybody's giving Kamala shit for not like answering questions like policy wise and talking about like if they ask her about the economy, she gives this 5 minute speech about like I come from the middle class, I grew up with a working mother, and like she eventually gives an answer, but she dances around and like does a whole like learn a little bit about me. And I think we're at the point now where she needs to skip that first 5 minutes and just talk about what her solution is going to be.
Yeah.
I'll say this though, Trump is giving the weirdest like he should have an answer ready for like what are you going to do about food prices, and he totally didn't. So
Yeah.
I think they're grading both of them differently. Everybody expects Kamala to talk policy, but then you look at Trump and it's like, what is he talking about? Like, there are people around him talking policy. He's not doing it.
Well, here's the thing. Like, okay, so he mentioned Biden and Harris gave him a call.
Okay.
And probably it was like, oh, I'm so sorry that somebody shot at you or
Mhm.
was trying to assassinate you or whatever. Give him a little bit of stuff. And his crowd is booing.
Like I said, there wasn't straight up booing, but it was like it was quiet with a couple random hecklers that were not down with like almost like he was trying to extend an olive branch and his
Yeah,
crowd was telling him we're not down with this and then he immediately launched back into like they're
right.
communists, they're trying to destroy the country.
So his crowd, well, his ego and the fact that he needs people to love him is destroying him. And this is goes back to the Laura Loomer thing, right?
Yeah.
Where she like praises on him, dotes on him. I love you, President Trump. I love you, President Trump. Like he eats that up and he needs
One
that to that's the narcissistic tendency in him. He needs that love and admiration to actually like keep going forward. And when he doesn't get it, when he gets booed or heckled or whatever, like he's never going to bring this up again. Like he's never going to try and extend an olive branch to either one of them again.
yeah, well, I'll say this. Laura Loomer, you brought up real quick, and I was thinking about this the other day. You know, the whole he can be easily manipulated thing? Like, everybody's always said that the other world leaders, like Xi and Putin and all them, like it because they can manipulate him. And Kamala Harris proved at the debate that you can manipulate him very
All
easily.
right.
You can trigger him. And like, it works the other way there. Like, a Laura Loomer has no business being near Trump, but she just talked really good about him online for a long time. And if anybody said anything bad about him, she went after them and like that earns you, like she is now one of Trump's favorite people. And it's like
Yeah.
that's how easy he is. I mean, like, and he says it. If I like people that say nice things about me, so if you say nice things about him, like he's gonna bring you into his orbit. It's kind of scary.
It's very scary. Yeah.
Yeah,
He's very manipulative. Yeah.
yeah. So, real quick, Springfield, Ohio, eating our cats and dogs. Okay, little update on that. Do you remember last time I
Oh,
told you the first like thing that happened with this was a guy that was part of a neo-Nazi group that went and spoke at like a town hall after he led an anti-immigration march, and
right.
he was the first person to say like they're eating our pets basically. So that was way back in July. They also tracked down the Facebook post that then happened after that that really got things going, and it's an old lady and she had lost her cat and she suspected that or trying to remember. So it wasn't this old lady; it was like someone who knew her put up a Facebook post. My friend lost her cat. She thinks the Haitian neighbors ate the cat. It turned out they actually filed a police report about that. So JD Vance gets that police report and gives it to the Washington Post and is like, see, evidence they're eating the cats. So then the Washington Post rightfully figures they look at the police report, they go to the lady and they're like, "Hey, you filed this police report that they're," and she was like, "Oh yeah, I actually found my cat in the basement like 2 days later, and I went over and apologized to my Haitian neighbors for accusing them of stealing my cat." And
Oh
like this
God.
was all months ago, and the lady, so the lady ended up giving an interview, and she's wearing a Trump hat with a Trump shirt and a Trump flag on her house behind her.
Oh
But
God.
so she's a total Trumper, but she was like, "Yeah, no, I found my cat. Turned out it was in the basement the whole time." Like, so that police report. So there still appears the one thing that's killing me is I've heard a couple people on the right go, "Oh, hold on, you're telling me that there's nobody eating a cat or a dog in Ohio?" And it's like, well,
Sure.
okay, I'll bet there's somebody eating a cat or a dog in every state.
Yeah.
I don't think the Haitian migrants are actually doing it. They asked JD Vance today. They said like, "Hey, these people are here legally. Like, you do not agree with the program that brought them here, but they are here legally." And he basically said like, "I'm still going to call them illegal." Like, and she's like, "All right." So,
Wait, he said that on air?
he said that at like a rally today where he was taking questions. They also asked him. They said, "Hey, don't you have some kind of a responsibility to fact check these things before you start making a big deal out of it?" And he turned it on him and he was like, "No, it's the media's responsibility to fact check it." And like the crowd roared and they were like, it is like the media did fact check it and now they're asking you like, shouldn't you have also done that? And
Yeah.
it was funny on that same thing. What was the other part of that? I'm trying to remember. He had a couple. JD Vance has been hurting himself recently,
Yeah.
and
Oh, since he started, since day one, he's been hurting himself.
it's funny because the people that love Trump and Vance, like what he's saying right now, they love. Like he is feeding red meat to the base. But
Yeah.
like again, the base is going to be there to vote for you. You need the middle, and it's turning off the middle big time. Yeah, he's been kind of a gaff machine. So thank God for JD Vance. Really, when you look at Trump could still win. 100% Trump could win. We need to be ready for that. But when you look at, I think when you look back at this, it's going to be like, oh, Trump picked the worst possible pick. He's still underwater favorability wise. Like he has a
Yeah.
negative favorability rating. People do not like him. So he
Yeah.
picked that guy. He brought in Laura Loomer. He brought in Tulsi. He brought in RFK. Like it's gonna be if he loses, it's gonna be easy to look back and figure out where it went wrong. But for now, we'll see.
How many people are in the middle? in
Oh,
America.
the majority of them, but the problem is the majority of that middle group isn't voting. Like,
Uh,
yeah, you know,
and so would you say that the people that are voting that are in the middle are some of the more intelligent people? The people who kind of look at both sides there and like weigh their options each time?
the people that do vote, the people that are in the middle but do vote.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, I think that's how it should be. You should always go into every election kind of open-minded, and if you normally vote Republican, but the Republican is crazy, or they're
Yeah.
they're doing stuff that you don't like, you should be willing to look at the Democrat and say, hey, is that person more aligned with me? Like,
Yeah, but most people, a lot of people that vote or like register as an independent are kind of just on they're like, they're gonna look at both sides if they're gonna vote. If they register independent and they vote, they're looking at both sides every election.
it's theoretically.
So how, if you are in that group, how are you going to vote for Trump? I don't think he has any of those votes. I don't think he has 10% of those votes.
Here's something I was thinking about this today as a way to explain this to you, okay? Because I know you always say like, what policies? Like, why would anybody vote Republican? Okay.
Why?
Let me explain this to you right now. People, not you, but people like the Republican policies enough to where even with a terrible candidate like Donald Trump, this race is still really close.
What
Imagine,
policies?
dude,
What
imagine
policies?
I'm not going down this road with you,
You don't
but
have any. That's why. There's no policies, Andy.
I have so many other fun things to talk about tonight. I'm not going to go through Republican policies with
I
you. I'm
want to
just
know the Republican policies. There's no Republican policies.
hear me now. If Nikki Haley was the Republican nominee right now, she would be wiping the floor with Kamala.
Give me
There,
two of her policies.
well, she would run on lowering the debt, which Trump is not. Can I
Yeah,
real
but
quick?
we've already gone over this.
No,
Like the
real quick
Democrats
timeout,
always lower the debt more than the Republicans do.
dude.
Or spend less.
The most recent stuff he's saying about not taxing overtime and God, I can't remember. He's promising all this stuff as far as like not taxing people, and everybody's saying,
Promising.
oh, and everybody's saying this is going to blow up the debt ridiculously. And they even asked Mike Johnson, the Speaker of the House, about that on I can't remember what channel it was, and he just goes, "Well, yeah, we know it, but we're still going to look at doing it." And it's like, okay, so we've given up. Yeah, that's all I got. Economy wise and immigration wise. Now, the Democrats have moved over to like the center right immigration
Yeah.
wise. Like they're acting like they want to get tough on the border. There's a couple things. If Republicans stopped trying to, if they didn't go after abortion, gay marriage, legalized weed, like there's a couple things they could just give up on and they would win a lot of elections. And same with the left. If the left would just get tough on the border and talk about paying down the debt, they would win a lot. Like to me, it'd be so easy for either side to shift to where most of America is.
The problem is every president, Republican, Democrats, they all have built wall
They've
because
built they've built
they,
barrier. Barrier is the correct word.
barrier wall,
Yeah.
whatever you want to call it. They've
Mhm.
all done that because everything else they've tried doesn't work.
The thing that has
That's the problem.
the thing that has been tried and has shown promise is Bill Clinton, I think, was the first to start this with NAFTA. But his whole thing was, and I think we talked about this a couple weeks ago. I'll do a quick recap. His whole thing was people are coming over here from Mexico. Instead of trying to keep building walls to keep them out, let's make life in Mexico better to where people don't want to leave Mexico. So he helped.
Yeah, but that didn't work either, so he built
No,
walls.
it did.
Barriers.
I'm telling you, it had a good impact. Okay, and then Obama did it with Biden in like the three Central America countries. I can't remember what they are. Biden tried to do it with Kamala. But for real, like if we put a little effort into making these shittier countries around us, yeah,
Yeah.
that's a very. But if we tried to make them a little bit better, people wouldn't want to come in, and then it'd get a lot easier. Like stop
Yeah.
the flow. Like we keep
Yeah.
trying to build walls to stop the flow. No, just turn off the faucet, stop the flow. So
Yeah, you can't stop the flow. That's the problem.
now we need border security with that. And I'll say this, I think it was Vance recently was saying he was like, well, some of it needs to be wall and and then he started talking about these cameras that use AI and they can see in 20 miles in either direction and they can identify if it's a rabbit or a deer or a human with a gun and like that's what a lot of people were trying to say back in 2016 when Trump was saying a big shiny wall from sea to sea. And it's like, no, the wall makes sense in certain areas, and in other areas, it makes sense to use different technology to guard the border. Like you don't need a wall from sea to shining sea. I think Vance was trying to articulate that today, which I'm glad he understands that.
What's the percentage that's coming through the wall or the over the border, not through a port of entry?
Most of them are coming through like the asylum laws or where most of them they're coming in, they're claiming asylum. Republicans are right that like that system is broken. The problem is they're not serious about fixing that system. Like we that's what we need. We need a comprehensive border bill that has to do with border security and fixing the asylum system and getting more judges. And that all needs to be addressed at once.
Yeah. What was it? Let's
Which
see.
real quick, the Republicans and Democrats got together and did this last year addressed all of those things. It didn't do it perfectly, but it addressed all the different things that needed to happen, and Trump killed it because it was a good thing for him to run on. So that's again, that's the thing that Trump's done recently that upsets me the most is like we almost had a border bill like pass that would have actually had a good impact, and Trump killed it. So I think it was right of Kamala to call him out on that at the debate, and it kind of neutralized immigration for her. So good
Yeah,
move.
but I mean, people like El Paso is a good city to look at. Probably like the Tijuana border too.
Mm.
It's like people from Mexico come into the United States to work every day,
Yeah,
and
there's
they go home to Mexico every
yep.
day. And like we need those people to work, right?
So supposedly every time they interview people like that live in El Paso or live like in the Rio Grande Valley, that's what it's called.
Uh-huh.
I see all the time where they interview the people there and they're like, no, we have a good relationship with the town across the border. Like we go there every day, they
Yeah.
come here every day. And it's odd that they always paint this picture that like, no, the border's not an issue. But then people in Pennsylvania are really concerned about the border. And it's like, well, the people living on it don't seem as concerned.
Yeah.
That's all I know. Now there are parts where it is. I'm sure, like in Tijuana and San Diego, right there. Like there needs to be a wall there. Like there could be a lot of gang activity and cartels coming back and forth across. So there's places where a wall and like strict security of who's coming back and forth makes sense.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. But as a port of entry, so people, even if you're in a gang, you could still come over. And even if you're just a worker and one day you decide like, it's better here. I'm just gonna
I'm
stay.
just gonna stay
I'm
here
just
today.
gonna rent an apartment.
Well, most of the time those people get found and either deported or put on pay. I think they call it being on paper, but you're being tracked.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Immigrate immigration's not going to get fixed anytime soon. Like we came really close, and I don't think we're going to have another opportunity like that for a while. Real quick, I
We came close to what?
to having an actual border bill, like border legislation that would have made a difference. Like we
Maybe. I
the
mean,
one
like
of
I said, every president for the last 60 years has tried something and nothing works.
they actually wrote a bill this time. They've never gotten that far. They wrote a bill and everybody liked it. And James Lankford, the senator from Oklahoma, who's Republican as hell, is like the chief architect of it. It was basically a Republican border bill. Like I can't believe the Dems gave that much to the Republicans. And Biden said, "Pass it and I'll sign it." I mean, we were on the doorstep. So, real quick, can I
Hmm.
back all the way up?
Yeah, get
I
back
just
up.
remembered JD Vance. One more thing he did in his I don't call it a rally. I think he was in North Carolina. Um, but he was talking about the bomb threats. I don't know. Have you seen where like hospitals and schools in Springfield, Ohio, are getting bomb
Yeah.
threats left and right, and like the college there had to go virtual? It's a lot of attention on this city. The governor of Ohio, it's either DeWine or DeWitt. I can never remember his name. But he came out on all the Sunday morning shows and like he wasn't denouncing Trump or Vance, but he was flatly saying like they need to stop this. And like
Yeah.
Trump's talking about going to Springfield now, and the mayor of Springfield, the governor of Ohio are like, no, do not go. Like we do not have the resources. Like they're stretched thin right now with all the bomb threats.
Yeah.
But today, JD, because DeWine, I'm going to say his name's DeWine, but it might be wrong. But this weekend on the shows, he said all the bomb calls have all been hoaxes, which a bomb threat generally is a hoax. There's normally not a bomb, it's a
Yeah.
hoax. So he said most of them been hoax or all of them been hoaxes, and he did say that a lot of them are coming from overseas, which I totally believe. Russia,
Hmm.
China, Iran, like they're trying to stoke
Oh,
problems. So he said most of them are coming from overseas. So JD kind of took a victory lap today where he was like, "Oh, and the governor said that they've all been hoaxes and like they're coming from overseas. So don't you dare blah blah blah." But it's like, yeah, no, bomb threats are hoaxes. Like that's the definition of a bomb threat. You say there's a bomb there, and if there is a bomb there, we call it something else. Um, but in
JD sucks.
the
JD
fact
is
that
a
it,
maggot.
dude, the fact that it's coming from overseas doesn't matter. Like this town is being terrorized by bomb threats. I don't care where they're
Yeah.
coming from. It's happening because you and Trump put a magnifying glass on it. And then to kick it all off, this got leaked out of the governor of Ohio's office. But the day before the debate, The governor, the mayor, and Trump had a phone call about this where they assured Trump this is not happening. The day before the debate, they were like, "Sir, this isn't happening. Nobody's pets are getting eaten." And even after that call, he went out the next day and said it at the debate just to rile it up. So he knew the day before that it was not true. So that's that means Trump doesn't give a shit about those people. Like he's using this to win, and he doesn't mind if he terrorizes a town.
Yeah.
Like so that's
Yeah. Does Trump give a shit about anybody but himself?
no. I guess the people giving him money. I don't know something like that. But he
But
launched his
as
crypto by
far
the
as him
way.
giving him money, that's it, right? He
Yeah,
doesn't really care about him.
I think his crypto is officially launched. I haven't heard anything about how it's doing. Have you heard
What's
anything
it
about this?
called?
It's like Patriot Crypto or something. It doesn't have
Of
Trump in
course.
the name. So
It doesn't?
it makes me think everybody always says like, "Oh, Trump built all these buildings." Like, no, he didn't build any of those buildings. Like he has a licensing deal to put his name on the building. Like he basically buys the rights to the naming rights.
Yeah, he
So
doesn't know anything about crypto.
so it makes me wonder if like this somebody else is running this and he's basically their sponsor and he's going to get a big chunk of money for doing it.
Well, I found Trump coin.
I thought it was called Patriot something.
I mean, it would make sense if he put his name on it.
Yeah, well, and that's why I was kind of shocked that he didn't I didn't think he had it. What is Trump's?
Trump coin. Oh, here we go. Trump coin.
Okay, never
It
mind.
is a little over a cent. We should buy
I,
it. Oh, it's up 14% right now.
I don't know if that's good or bad. I know
I mean,
nothing
you
about
know
crypto.
he's got billions of these coins like floating around.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh no, this thing's been around since 2018.
Yeah, I think somebody else probably stole the name Trump coin, so he had to use it.
Yeah.
Now let's see here.
Yeah, this is interesting. New Trump.
It's called World Liberty Financial.
World Liberty Financial.
Yeah, World Liberty Financial. Somebody made the joke, and I'm not trying to make fun of anybody that sends money to a. I think anybody that sends money to any of these candidates is not the brightest, just in general.
Yeah.
But all the people that are Trump supporters that are complaining about how they can't make ends meet are sending Trump a lot of money. For people that can't afford groceries, stop buying his Bibles and stuff. Like, just stop. Another thing. Oh my gosh. So I'm jumping all over the place.
Okay, hold on. I want to tell you how much this is worth right now.
Okay, got it.
It is worth $0.00002.
Okay. Yeah, you should buy some just in
It's
case.
worth I guess it's a millionth of a cent.
So
And it's down. It's already down.
it's it's kind of like Trump media right now, which is still crashing. One more this last thing, and then I got to tell you about Israel. So somebody went on. Who did they go on with? I think it might have been with Dan Bongino. It wasn't with him. Anyhow, somebody went on a right-leaning podcast. That was Benny Johnson. They went on Benny Johnson's show. He's one of the guys that was being paid with Russia unknowingly, being paid by them.
Yeah. Well, who was it? Him, Tim, and
Dave Rubin. And
Rubin.
a girl named Lauren Chen, who I'd never heard of.
Okay.
So anyhow, they had some former Secret Service guy, kind of like Dan Bongino, on the show, and he basically said, "Well, clearly, it looks like there's a mole in the Secret Service. Like, how did this guy know that he was golfing that day?" And like, it doesn't add up at all because the guy, according to the guy's cell phone data, he'd been there for 12 hours in the bushes waiting for Trump. Okay.
Oh.
Trump's team said that it was a last minute decision to go to that golf course. So that guy just, it turns out if you want to find Trump on a Sunday, apparently he does not go to church and he goes golfing every Sunday morning. So if you, I have no clue if this guy really was doing a lot of homework, but if you're kind of watching Trump and seeing, okay, can I figure out where he's going to be? Apparently he goes golfing every Sunday morning because he doesn't go to church. So
That's
this
his
guy,
church.
yeah, so this guy went to the course that Trump owns closest to his Mar-a-Lago on a Sunday morning, just got there early and said, I'll bet he's going to show up today. And it turns out he was going to show up. Yeah, he got there.
Would you like think it would be Mar-a-Lago that it would show up at?
I don't think there's a golf course at Mar-a-Lago, and the security at Mar-a-Lago is really tight. Apparently, if Trump was the current president, like if Biden went golfing right now, they would shut down the whole course. Like it would be, yeah, you wouldn't get anywhere near that. But because it's Trump, and like from reports, he like with an hour to go said, "Hey, I want to go golfing. Let's go to my course in like an hour," and like didn't give much. And I guess that's how he rolls down there. Like he decides he's going to go golfing, and like a lot of it's not planned. So
Mar-a-Lago is just a hotel?
Mar-a-Lago's a club where you can, I don't know anything about this, I think, but you can like rent villas or condos on the property.
Uh-huh.
I'll bet the people there are renting them for like weeks at a
But there's
time, but
not an actual golf course. I always thought there was a golf course there.
I don't think there is. Yeah,
Huh.
I think it's just a
Okay.
club. So,
Oh.
so I think it's like I don't want to say it's a country club, but that's kind of what I think it is. It's like a country. It's a
Doesn't a
really
country club always have a golf course?
You're gonna make me look for an aerial view of Mar-a-Lago.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Let's
So
see.
maybe Mar-a-Lago is like the real estate portion of it, and then the golf course is like
Oh yeah,
attached to
dude.
it.
Looking on the Google Maps, like satellite view, like I mean, it's big, but it's not that. It definitely doesn't have a golf course.
I'm surprised it's not blacked out at this point.
No, I mean, it looks like you could swim right up to it on two different sides.
Oh,
Yeah, I mean, it's got water on both sides. There's a major road that runs right along the side and the front of it.
it's got to be a nightmare to secure.
Yeah. But I think he went golfing at his Doral golf course. I'm not positive on that.
How far is
Uh
that from Mar-a-Lago? Is it attached?
I don't know. It's not attached. It's definitely not attached. So
Okay.
let me do a quick time check. Yeah, we haven't gotten a warning. Um, so ready to hear about some Israeli Israel is got the best intelligence service, and when it comes to like making weapons and stuff, like and getting revenge, Israel is the king of that. Like you can hate everything else about them, but they're good at what they do. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
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 Hold
Doesn't every citizen have to join the military?
I believe so. I think
Yeah.
yes, that is a deal. But also, so I was watching a podcast today where they're talking about it. Like they're constantly like in a little mini war with either Gaza or the West Bank, so they get to test their shit all the time. So that's part of the deal. Is like they're constantly anyhow. Um,
And every ex-military person I know, we know quite a few people. They all have guns and they all love their technology and
yeah,
their
yeah.
firearm technology. So,
Well, apparently Israel has the most advanced stuff. So back like I think it was 6, 8 months ago, Israel took out one of the leaders of Hamas, and they did it by like triangulating his cell phone somehow and like hitting him with a
yeah,
targeted
that was
strike.
in Iran.
That was in Lebanon. So
Lebanon.
that was
Okay.
actually Hezbollah. Do you know the difference between Hezbollah and Hamas?
Um, no, no,
So
I just
it's
know the
real
word
easy. They're
terrorism.
basically they're sister organizations. They're basically
Yeah.
the same thing. Hamas is in Israel. It's in Gaza or the West Bank.
Hmm.
Hezbollah is in Lebanon. So it's just a matter
Okay.
of where they're at, but it's the same basic group. Okay. Lebanon's just to the north of Israel. So anyhow, they took out one of the Hezbollah leaders using a cell phone. One of the other leaders like sent out a message right away and was like, "Hey, like they're tracking our cell phones. We got to stop using the cell phones." And then they came up with an idea that hey, we're going to use pagers. Like nobody uses pagers anymore. Like they probably can't
Huh.
track our pagers, so they ordered pagers. They ordered it from a company in Taiwan, but like the company
Okay.
in Taiwan like had licensed their pager to a company in Hungary. So even though they ordered it from Taiwan, it was actually getting made and shipped from Hungary. Okay.
Okay.
Israel, Israel somehow, because of their great intelligence and probably spying, knows that this is happening. So they intercept that order of beepers before it gets to Lebanon, to
Hmm.
Hamas. So they,
Well,
they
I'm
get,
sure. I mean, it's got to be easy if you're Israel or any intelligence agency, the United States, any of them, to like track people's computers and what they're doing. I mean, they're
yeah,
doing it to us all the time.
they knew this order was coming and they intercepted it. So they intercept this and they plant, I don't know how much, but they plant explosive like next to the battery and the pager, okay?
Holy
And
shit.
build like a I don't know, some kind of a they turn it into a bomb basically, okay? And they did this months ago. Like they did this to all the
Whoa.
pagers, and then they sent them on their way, and then they were received by Hezbollah, and Hezbollah handed them out to everybody, and they've been walking around with these bombs on their belts for the past however many months. Like this is
Whoa.
a long con, okay? So 3,000 Hezbollah fighters have pagers on their hips, and I think it happened yesterday. Yeah, yesterday. The pagers start all 3,000 of them at the same time start beeping. And when you check it, the pager, it's one of those where you can like read the message and it just
Uh-huh.
said shalom, which is, yeah. So,
Yeah.
and then they all exploded. So they only killed 9 of the Hezbollah fighters, from what I understand. But there's
Okay.
3,000 of them that had a fucking hole in their abdomen yesterday. So a lot of them, it took
Damn.
out hands, eyes, like people were holding it up to their face. So like they wounded very badly basically every Hezbollah fighter yesterday.
Okay, so why are there 40,000 innocent children and women,
We're not talking about
innocent
Gaza right
civilians
now.
dead right now?
We're talking about we're talking about so hold on. This
Like if
gets even
they can do this, why can't they do this
maybe they're trying
about
harder
killing
now.
children and
They're hearing that people are upset and they're trying harder because there's no way they could have done targeted strikes on all 3,000 of this without killing that many civilians. Now they did. There were apparently a couple kids that died in this, like kids that were standing next to their parent that had a pager on. So there was a handful of kids that died and a couple other civilians. So there wasn't totally casualty free,
yeah.
but anything else they would have done if they would have tried to do targeted strikes would have involved more casualties. So this was the best case scenario to take out
Yeah.
that many
Good.
people.
Do more
Yeah.
of that. Stop
So
killing children.
so then today, that happened yesterday. So you got to imagine that they're like, ah, shit, like I'm not touching my phone. Like I don't know what's a bomb. So they have walkie talkies too. Today, all of their walkie talkies at the same time exploded.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I don't know how many people they got. The news, I didn't get to see how many people got killed today.
Holy shit.
So if you're a Hezbollah guy in Lebanon right now, I'm not going anywhere near any electronic. Like I don't know what else
Oh.
is fixing to explode. Like just from a
Huh.
intimidation standpoint, like if you're Hezbollah right now, like, oh my God. So Israel knows everything you're doing and they've got bombs planted around you that you've been wearing. Like it sends
Yeah.
a strong, so you
Good.
can appreciate the craftiness of what Israel just did and still say what they're doing in Gaza is not acceptable. I'm
Yeah.
just saying what they did in Lebanon was, and
Yeah.
there's
Do
people
more
that,
of that, Israel. Stop killing innocent people.
yes, but they did good with that. So I give them credit for that. Trying to think here. Yeah, that's about it. I saw this for you, but in Gaza right now, 2 babies are being killed every day by Israel. So I figured you'd enjoy that stat.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, that makes
two
me feel great.
2 babies a day for the last 11 months.
Yeah, that
So
makes me feel fantastic. 2 babies a day for the last 11 months. That's a lot of babies.
that is 700 ish, just shy of 700. So yeah.
Jeez.
No. Anyhow, I wanted to counter how awesome I was really bragging on how awesome Israel was, so I figured I'd bring it back to reality. And yeah, the stuff they're doing in Gaza is not that good, but
Yeah, it's horrible.
that's where we're at. So we only got 4 minutes left. You got any? I covered my list. Oh wait, I didn't cover my list. You got time for one more?
Go for it.
We have to do another every year. We have to do another spending bill and like a continuing resolution, and then they have a debt ceiling fight. So we're back to that time. Okay.
Oh, right
Yeah.
now?
Yeah,
Why
we're back
can't
to
we
that.
wait till after the election? This
So
is a
right
bad
before,
timing.
so they're trying to do a continuing resolution to basically push it to like late January, and Republicans are trying to put on the it's called the SAVE Act, and it's a federal voting. It's basically federally illegal aliens cannot vote in our elections. Now, illegal aliens cannot vote in our elections. Period.
Yeah.
It's state laws. There's not a federal law that says that, and they want a federal law that says that.
Okay, good. Do it.
Democrats are saying no, and
Huh.
here's why. They're saying this would then give like right now when Trump tried to challenge the last election, the whole key good thing about our elections is they're not centralized. They're independent and every county does their own election. And they
Mhm.
built it that way for a reason so that you couldn't have one guy, the president, like that controls the elections. Okay. So we
Oh,
don't want to. And apparently, when he tried to do all his lawsuits last time, like 3/4 of them, he couldn't even get in front of a judge because he did not have standing to do so.
right.
Whereas if there was a federal law about it, then he would have standing. So the Democrats are saying, no, the states do the election laws. We do not have federal
And
election
that makes the
laws.
Democrats look bad, look like they're cheating by
So,
letting illegal immigrants vote, which they're not because no illegal immigrant can actually vote
yeah,
in any state, right?
that's how it's supposed to be.
I mean, that seems like a federal law, but all the states have just agreed to that.
Yeah, all the states, and
Okay.
anyhow, so Republicans are trying to marry the two together and send them both through at the same time. If you vote for the budget, you also have to vote for that. And Democrats are saying, no, you need to remove that. We're going to do these one at a time. Trump is hardcore calling for shut the government down. And I think part of it's because he's losing right now. The new polls that have come out, Kamala's up in every swing state. Now in Nevada and Georgia, she's up like 0.2%, like so barely up. Okay. But right now things
Yeah.
are looking good. So I think if you're Trump, you shut down the government, maybe that'll screw with the election. Like every Republican knows, and Mitch McConnell was trying to scream this today, like, don't do it. We're going to get the blame for it. Republicans always get the blame for it. Do
Mhm.
not. It's going to kill us this, in this election cycle. But Trump's saying, do it. Do it right now.
Of
So
course. Trump's an idiot. Yeah.
yeah. So it's if he encourages the House to shut down the government, he's gonna end up losing that one. It's gonna happen. The American people they're sick of that shit. The Republicans do this every time, and then they end up caving. What sucks is they shut it down for a week or two, and then they end up giving in anyway.
Yeah.
So it's like just sign it. So
When does that vote supposed to go through?
I don't know. That's coming up soon though. They actually
Before the election?
I think they're gonna hold a vote. It was either today or tomorrow, and that vote was supposed to fail.
Okay. And does it have to be 50? Is it 50% vote?
Yeah, 50% in the House.
Okay.
So anyhow, so
And then it goes to the Senate?
then it goes to the Senate. The Senate will pass it. The Senate doesn't want to shut down at all. So
Yeah.
it's
Okay.
the problem is there's just enough Republicans in the House that will do whatever Trump says. Boebert, Marjorie Taylor Greene, those types. So if he can get like 7 or 8 of them to say no, like if you're the Democrats, you almost let you don't bail them out. You let them do it and let them look bad. So
They always do that.
pay
Yeah.
attention in the next week or two. That's going to start getting fun. But I think Trump really wants them to shut it down. And I'll bet everybody around him is trying to tell him don't do it, but he thinks it's the right move. So Trump always knows what's best.
Well, I mean, he plays to his base. He's not gonna get any of those independent voters.
Yeah. We got less than a minute, I just noticed. So
All right,
say
brother.
we sign off. Have fun in Maine. Let's do this as soon
Yeah.
as you get back.
Yeah, it should be good.
All right,
All right,
buddy.
talk to you soon.
Back.